All right, hey, good morning, team. Please go ahead and come on in, grab a seat where you can. We're gonna go ahead and get started. It's 11 a.m. this Saturday, January 20th, and we're gonna go ahead and kick off with the DFC community meeting. Folks, go ahead and have a seat and quiet down, please. We can have some conversation. There'll be plenty of time for conversation here in just actually a few minutes. So today we've got PG&E. Thank you very much for sponsoring our refreshments. Everything was yes, thank you. Yes, pop away. Sponsored our refreshments today, and the Valley Grind did all that wonderful work back there. So you've got coffee, tea, cookies, water, some fruit. So help yourself throughout today's presentation. So a couple changes to our lineup, and I'll get to that in a second. But just so in the interest of time, we have Bill Roderick here from Plymouth Unified School District and Plymouth County Office of Education, the superintendent, and he's got a couple updates on Greenville schools. So Mr. Roderick, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for giving me some time. I'm going to give you an update on the schools, and I'm going to give you an update on a little bit of the facilities and things that affect all the kiddos out here in the community. So I will be brief. For the last 8-9 months, we've been talking about what are we going to do with high school? What are we going to do with the high school? What are we going to do with the high school? And in forums like this and in lots of individual meetings in my office and out here on the campus, excuse me, I'm about 3 weeks post-COVID, so my lungs still go. There was one big message. The message was, while this community rebuilds, make sure we still have a high school for our kids to go to, and make sure we have an elementary school. And we went through a couple different ideas, a couple different iterations, and kept meeting with people and meeting with groups, and it's not unanimous. There's nothing ever unanimous when it comes to a community, other than we want to make sure that the schools, which are the lifeblood of a community, stay here for the next generation and generation after that. So worked really hard at building some bridges and mending some fences, and we've come to an agreement with Plymouth Charter School, and they're going to move the Indian Valley Academy out here, and they're going to run the high school program, grades 7 through 12, and they run a good program. Because if they didn't, I never would have listened, right? But we did our research, and they're serving 80% of the kids in the valley already at the high school. And the flip side of that was we were serving 80% of the elementary school kids. So Plymouth Unified School District is going to run the program TK through 6. I am not going to speak on Plymouth Charter's behalf and what their program is going to look like, other than I know it's going to be robust. And I know that they're very open to listening to the community for input and how they serve your students. But with that, they will basically have the campus from the high school wing over to the gym. We have agreements in place so that anytime the elementary school needs to use the gym facilities for community events, their harvest festival, things like that, those agreements are in place. It's a really good agreement, a series of agreements, and they're all in the hands of the attorneys right now. That's why you don't know a lot about them, because I'm not going to put anything out there publicly that we haven't both come to terms on. But I like to tell everybody 98% of the work on this is done. And we have a couple little things we've got to iron out, but those aren't deal breakers. So it is our full intent that Indian Valley Academy at Greenville High School will take over on this campus on July 1st. What I can tell you for the PUSD program, TK through 6, we will be going out and hiring one more teacher. Here, probably we'll fly it in the next couple weeks to see if we can get someone to sign on. So we will have one teacher for every grade level for our elementary students. We'll have full services. You know, there's a piece of this, and you guys know this, and I don't always make decisions on finances. I try to do what's best for kids. And what I told everybody, I've been very consistent with this message. I can afford to lose some money on one school, but I can't lose money on two. With the charter school running the high school program, I am investing into Greenville Elementary School, and they are going to have an amazing program for young families that want to relocate. They're going to come in and they're going to see a very dynamic, robust program for the elementary school. And the charter school does a great job getting kids ready to go to college. They do a great job getting kids ready to go to the trades. I know they're open to exploring some of these ideas of, you know, maybe a construction academy and things like that, because I know I've got lots of contractors in here and you can't find good work. Can't find good workers, so you can build more houses. So we're cognizant of all that, and we're listening. So basically what I'm here today to tell you is this whole thing is moving forward, and I think I'll be back in February, and we'll have some information to really be able to share with you. Some of the initial agreements will be approved by, hopefully by both boards. And we'll be starting the process of making sure we've got all our stuff out of there. So you know the facilities that we're turning over, it's being turned over fully furnished. It's not like we're just giving them a blank building saying figure it out. We've come to a lot of agreement. Kids are going to be able to move in. They're going to have a great opportunity on this high school campus. Okay. When I get done here, I'll take a couple questions, and then I've got to get on the road to a conference in Southern California for all the county superintendents. Now I'm going to give you an update on a couple of facilities things. We still have the great big ugly tower out there. Okay. That tower is there until one of two things happen. Frontier finishes the fiber through the entirety of the valley. Because that pickup right there, and because I'm not from here, you're going to have to please forgive me, because I don't know all the mountains. But we pick up the internet from over there, and we pick it up here, and it goes to another dish farther that way, and then up onto another one of the mountains. This is the pickup right now that keeps the internet in the valley. All right. That can't go away until we have one of two things. All the fiber is all the way in. They say we've got fiber everywhere. We don't need the backup. Cool. Or somewhere on the bottom of a set of permits and variance requests on someone's desk at the county, there's permit. And I'm looking right at you because you're the only one that can pull this string for me. And all they have to do is approve that variance, because our landowner, our neighbor on that side, has said, my cows are smart. If they see a 35-foot tower falling, they're going to get out of the way. And if they don't, that's called natural selection. As soon as that variance is approved, they can move to a much smaller, it's 35 feet tall. It's just a pickup for an internet. It's got the little dish on top of it. And it will literally take them less than a month to do. They come in, they pour a great big spread foundation, 4 bolts out of the top. That thing screws right in, bolts right down. They hook it up, done. That's done. And on their way out of town, they hook that monstrosity up and they take it with them to the next disaster. Okay. So I am pushing as hard as I can, but I don't have influence on what happens in that office. Believe me, I want that gone as much as you as a community want it gone. One, it's an eyesore. Two, it's a bad memory. All right. So we want that gone. It's in a safe spot right now. We moved it off of the campus, away from where the kids were playing. And, I just scratch my head saying, okay, we're not doing this because we're worried about taking down a fence and possibly an Angus. But if it was falling the other way, it's going to take out a classroom wing. But that's where it is. So I keep pushing on that. I keep trying. So one of two things is going to happen, and that will go away soon. All right. Second, I know in this valley, I know sports are big. I know we love our baseball and our softball. Just signed a contract with Eddie Hamrick. I saw him walk in late. He's going to go out and gonna take care of that, that destroyed backstop off the back of the softball field. I've got a contract going to the school board at the next school board meeting, put in an all new backstop. We've got the order in for all the new bases, the pitching rubbers, the whole deal. So that softball field is gonna be ready for not only the girls team here at the high school, but also Little League. The concession stand that was behind it, those plans have been signed off at DSA. Our architects are currently creating the bid package and all the notes on that need to go out. We anticipate that will go out to bid in the next month. It's a request for proposal lasts 30 days, so we're hoping beginning of April, we can award that contract. And then we're gonna work with the contractor. It's not a giant project, to see if we can't push the start date back to August 1st after the Little League season. So we can get it in the ground, get it finished, but still also meet the needs of the community and you know, keeping the kiddos active. So we have that going on as well. So if anyone has any questions, I have time for a little bit. If not, I know you guys have a very full agenda. Ma'am.
The tower.
Yes.
If that, that form is approved, you're saying that we'll your basically bring the tower there?
No, ma'am. Okay, very good question. So if you go out to the football stadium, the very far back corner goes right in the back out there. They'll set it back. The tower is 25 or 35 feet tall. And so they basically set it in that distance. So if it were to fall, it's not going to take out our fence. But the rules for the variance say they have to have an extra 20 feet, which then brings the pasture into play. But if we move too far this way, then it can fall into the track or the field of play. So it's like a big puzzle, and where can we fit it? And that's why that tower is here, because it's so tall, it had to have places to be able to fall where it wasn't going to fall on rebuilding homes. So, sir.
I have a question about. So on the tower, I thought also it was providing public internet to the spot. So that was part of that access in order to get to, I believe, I don't know if I'm correct, is that no longer?
No, power to the spot is from a different source. It comes from Google here, telephone. The power to the spot comes from a different source. It comes from Bloom Sierra Telecommunications out of Portola. They sent some internet signals to Mount Heliker, and then from there we went up to, I think, Mills Peak and Mount Huff, and down to Chris Meyer's barn, where we've got a tower and a dish. We sent it over to the medical center, to the high school with Bill's permission, even though we crawled up on his roof without permission one day. But anyway, and then we sent it over to the spot. It's still going. It has 100 megabytes per second upload, download. It's free. There's no password for the public site. For the private site, there's an encrypted site, but that's not part of what Bill is talking about.
Yeah. Just so you know, we will not do anything with that if it's going to affect the community. Okay, it's there until the other system is fully functional and this community is supportive. Okay, it's so that's just like the same reason why we still have the library where the library is over here. That's what we need until they have a better solution. And when they're ready to leave, then they can leave, and so be it. The library is there, and the building for Roundhouse Council right now, that classroom, it's nice to see this one's coming up. And when they no longer need our facility, then then we're fine. So we're not pushing anybody to have to leave or have to move out. We're just pushing, like you guys all are, for progress to continue. Because if we don't push, it won't happen. So, any other questions for me, Mom? All right, folks, thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roderick. Taylor, if you could back up a little bit, we'll kind of. All right, can you go back to the program?
So just a quick rundown here, a couple of changes. So we were going to have a brief from Housing and Community Development today, and we're also going to have a steering committee election today. Both those items have been postponed. The Housing Community Development Grant from the state, that was going to be an introductory meeting today, really just kind of general background on what that program is. Followed up in February with a more detailed and robust training for people that want to be able to access that Housing and Community Development Grant. So that is postponed until February. In addition to that, we were going to have a steering committee election today. And the steering committee, they've worked over the last month to aggressively create a plan that would be amenable and conducive to the process of having as many applicants available as candidates to be able to have the public learn about those candidates and make a decision. And there's been some concerns and consternation around that process, that it wasn't as clear or open to trust as it should have been. So the steering committee, they convened and they talked about it and voted to postpone that as well. A lot of good work has gone into it. So it's not a complete, recreation or have to develop something new. However, to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, make sure that everybody feels good about it, revise, review, refine where it needs to be done, and then re-engage next month. So that's the plan. So information, the steering committee is going to meet again on Monday to talk about it. And then in short order, we'll get that information out via Facebook, Plymouth Sun. The website will be updated with it, in addition to physical flyers out and around town. So again, thank you for your patience on that. And, sometimes things aren't done right up front, but each and every time, there's no problem with trying to get it right by going through an iterative process. So thank you. I do want to run down the program once again. So we'll have a treasurer's update. We do have a presentation from the Dixie Fire Canopy Project, in addition to PG&E's service planning, Indian Valley Innovation Hub, Go Biz Chico Start. I have some share outs and Q&A. This kind of follows our normal progression. When we complete this, then we're going to kind of call a timeout, reconfigure the room a little bit, because we have a number of subject matter experts available, either from construction trades, engineering, financial backgrounds, real estate, etc. And it will really be an open forum for folks just to kind of mill about, talk to who you want to, don't talk to who you want to, whatever you want to do. Just trying to kind of lead a horse to water type of thing, and ask the questions that you feel you need to get answered. So we'll kind of break to do that towards kind of the halfway point. Okay. All right, the Dixie Fire Long-Term Recovery Group, known as the Dixie Fire Collaborative, is a collaboration of nonprofit, faith-based, local, state, and national organizations that work together to share information and resources that can help address the needs of individuals and families affected by the Dixie wildfire. The stated mission of the DFC is working to fulfill the unmet needs of Dixie Fire survivors and helping to rebuild the communities of Greenville, Indian Falls, Canyon Dam, and Warner Valley, and the surrounding areas of Plymouth County. All programs shall support this mission and purpose, and all who work for or on behalf of the DFC shall understand and adhere to that purpose. And with that, Sherry, our treasurer.
Good morning, and thank you for coming, and I appreciate your kind attention this morning. I don't have a lot to report. It seems like it's been a long time since the December meeting, and a few things have happened with our DFC account. After the last meeting, we posted another $6,451 of interest. So that brings up our total income to $3,056,787.26. Our grants have not changed. These are the same grants that have been funded for a while now. The Roundhouse rebuild gap funding was funded in early December, so I think I discussed that at the December meeting. Expenditures, these are the ones that we've had for quite a while, and the main addition is we received the bill for the final cleanup of the historical buildings downtown for select environmentals. That moved up to an expenditure from our committed funds. So our total expenditures at this point are $252,110. $2,022,927.07. And our current account balance is $2,087,456.07 in our current account balance. Our committed funding, we have paid our communications technician through December of 23, so that amount went down by just a little bit. We still have the hall rental and we still have our contribution to the Greenville Rancheria rebuild and the gap funding that will be paid as well. So our commitments at this point are $603,220. And our total expenditures and commitments for funding is $1,572,551.19, which is still just 51% of our funds that we have either spent or have them committed. So our funds that are still available are $1,484,236.07. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sherry. And next up, we have Michaela Trammell from the Dixie Fire Canopy Project.
Thank you very much for that. My name is Michaela Trammell, and along with my partner, Sam Wilson over there, we are putting the green back in Greenville and surrounding areas. So what does that look like? That looks like us coming through with all of the trees, shrubs, dirt, mulch, irrigation where possible, the deer fencing, everything needed to make sure these trees survive. We are doing this because when we did a lot of work, we're both out of the Quincy area. We looked at Greenville and it needs trees desperately. So our first project was funded by the Rotary just recently. I want to give a huge shout out. Thank you for that. That's going to go directly to the spot location. So we're going to be putting established trees in 24-inch boxes down at the spot. It's going to be 7 to 10 of those, depending on the kind of deal that we can cut with our wholesale nursery, and 5 shrubs, including the dirt, the mulch, and everything needed. We have a lot of really big projects coming up that we're collaborating with, including the Greenville Elementary School, hopefully the museum. We've got, sorry, I've got to look at my notes here, an outdoor learning classroom that's going to be based around the Maidu culture and all the plants that were needed for that. We're talking to Dawn Institute about possibly putting their orchard back out there that was completely destroyed. So we want to make sure that we are working with everybody that's in the Dixie Fire burn scar, not just Greenville. So to plant each residential property, I want to make sure that we touch on that. We're coming through, we're putting 4 trees, 2 shrubs, and everything needed. That's going to cost about $2,000 per property. So we've got about 50 residential signed up right now between the first 2 phases, as well as about 20 commercial properties. So as you can see, everybody's kind of getting excited about this project. They're eager to sign up. They're eager to come through and put trees back on their property and get this place looking green again. We're going to be here for a few questions. I know that we're kind of crunched on time. I had prepared to speak just briefly on this and answer any questions after. So I want to make sure that you know that you can reach out to us. You've got our business cards up here. If you have any questions, you can give us a call. You can email us. We're on Facebook, and we have our website at www.dixiefirecanopyproject.org. If you are interested in learning about the project, donating to the cause, or seeing anything that we are working on currently, you can go to any of those sites and view that information and updates. I want to say thank you again for everybody that's come before us in trying to put the green back into this area. It's a very big deal. We're trying to get back to that environment and greenery that we once had. So I do want to say thank you to everybody that's come before us and kind of done some similar things. So if you have any questions, like I said, we'll be here after. And if you have any suggestions, we are also taking all of our tree suggestions right now to be able to draft our final list to choose from in the next couple weeks. So if you have any suggestions at all, please let me know, and I would be happy to put those on there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michaela. And as it relates to Q&A, there'll be an opportunity for each presenter to kind of come up at the tail end. So if you have a question, they can answer. All right, Casey Holland, PG&E's service.
Good morning. So I want to just kind of do a quick recap on what I did a few months ago on what PG&E's work looks like for this upcoming 24th season. We have the underground projects in Greenville are going to be focused this season in 4 areas. We've got the Forgay Avenue area, Hot Springs, Alta Camp, and Hideaway. Probably mid-spring, late spring, as far as the start goes for those projects. Again, weather permitting, but we are having, thankfully, a mild winter. So that's looking optimistic. Go ahead. Spring work, they will be doing the overlay between Canyon Dam and Greenville, that paving work, as well as the Indian Falls area towards the Y, where they did the underground this last season. Again, weather permitting, but I talked to both the project managers and it looks like as soon as they can get to it, that will take place. So that should get going here early. There will be 3 underground projects this season on Highway 70, so you're not going to see us on 99 as much. We will be on 70. Those areas are going to be the Paxton area, the Twain area, and then one more, Taylor, that just resumed the Bucks Creek, and it just started this week. It's one of our contractors, MGE. It started in Story. They're going to be working towards Rich Bar, but I wanted to get everybody a heads up. We are looking at traffic control, unfortunately, again. This contract has a 15-minute max delay. You know, life happens, construction happens. But do plan if you're headed down that area for delays. It's weather permitting. They didn't even get a full week this week. 6 a.m., 6 p.m., except holidays, but do kind of start planning accordingly for that work now. Next, please. And as far as restoring services, we were able to get 40 last year, which was great for the community. I do encourage everybody to get going on that. If you know you're going to be looking for services this season, with the mild winter, we can get to civil work probably a little quicker than we were last season. So this is your website. This is the phone number. Unfortunately, it's an all online site. I'm here to help. Matt McGregor is here a couple times a week. He's our service planner as well. Super great guy. Here to help, here to assist. I'll be here afterwards to answer questions. I can get you more information, but I would highly encourage you to get going on the process. You can reach out to me. I can walk you through the process, but get going. It takes a bit of time. Don't want to delay you when you are ready to get started in the spring. So get going on that application, get it in the works. It does ask for some detailed information. Not necessarily all of it needs to be complete. I can kind of give you some pointers to get it into the system, and then Matt and myself will expedite it for you. So I do encourage you to get going. Resources, this is just rebuild phone number, rebuild email address. However, I live local. I live here in Taylorsville. I'm kind of like taking the 1-800 number out of it for you. So I would encourage you to reach out to me, email me, give me a call. Happy to answer questions. I kind of work as the liaison between the customer, PG&E, and their contractor. So do please reach out, shout questions, answers, and then I'll stay as well afterwards to field questions or get you more info on service planning. So yeah, thanks for your time.
All right, next up, we have Laura Wheeler from Indian Valley Innovation Hub.
Can you hear me now? So I'm here today to talk about the Plumas Business Directory and Plumas Business Resources. We are just about done with the Plumas Business Directory app. It's a cell phone app that you can download and get information about just about every business in Plumas County. Jason, can you come up here? Jason's been helping procure data for this app and he can help answer some questions. We're finding that it's the most accurate business directory out there right now. You can go online and you can do a search, but you're not gonna find a lot of the businesses that we have in this app. We've been working with business owners that don't have an online presence and getting them logos, setting up Facebook pages for them, putting them on other social media sources, connecting them with marketing agents so they can have websites, and then we're putting them into the app. The app is gonna help you find businesses that you didn't know existed here. So you might wonder if there's a plumber in Greenville. You can go into the app and look under contractors and see who the contractors are that are around here. And I think Jason said that the contractors was the second longest list in the directory, right after restaurants in Plumas County. So another thing that the directory does is it's gonna fuel our economic growth. If we know that services exist in our area, we're less likely to go outside of our area and pay for those services. Another important thing about this project is the data that we've procured. It also can be used as an assessment for what the unmet needs for consumers are. So if there's a business owner that wants to start something up here, they can look in the directory and they can see what exists and what doesn't exist. So it helps them to decide what products and services they're going to offer, what would be in demand. It helps to demonstrate to funders what they want to know, the data that we've procured. A lot of time when applying for loans or grants, building a business plan, business owners need to know what the demographics for the area are, what businesses already exist. It can help us apply for economic recovery grants. So the data that we have in our app, it really shows the big picture about what's happening economically in our area. For example, we've had a lot of businesses close down, and when we can demonstrate that, we are better qualified for economic recovery funding. Jason, can you tell me about the businesses that you vetted, how many you went through and how many are currently in the app?
So when we started out, we had over, I want to say 1,300 on a spreadsheet, possibly more. Going through that, the spreadsheet has come from Google, Duns and Bar, SamSite, Yelp, things like that. You go through it, you start researching, you come to find out a business has been dissolved, somebody has passed away, a business is shut down, it's moved. So it's dwindled down. It's a little under 700 at the moment, and it's accurate to date. You can go on Google, they won't have the accuracy that we have right now. You can go on Yelp, won't match the accuracy, go on Bing, etc. Some of you have heard from me, maybe. Still going through that list, trying to procure the data, make sure it's true to scale. So if you go on this app, which later on in the future, you'll be able to go to the App Store, whether it be Android or iPhone, and just download it. You'll click on, let's just say Evergreen, and the email, the address, the storefront, everything will be up to date. You can click on a link if it's Facebook, Instagram, Yelp, and it goes to that link.
Thank you. So I didn't put the link to the app up on our website yet, and we're waiting for the App Store and the places where you can download it from to put it up there, but we will put it online, and that'll happen later today. It'll be on our website, it'll be on the Dixie Fire Recovery Facebook page, and it'll be on the Indian Valley Innovation Hub page. Next slide. This shows the screens on the app. So we've got business categories, accounting, financial services, agriculture, farming and ranching, businesses, artists and galleries, automotive. We have a lot of different categories on there, and the more businesses we add, the more we're finding we should add more categories. On the second picture from the left here, you can see we have the construction and contractors list. We're adding logos. We've got almost all the contact information for each one of those that are already on there. And when you click on, say you click on Mountain Millwork Company in Greenville, this is the screen that it's going to take you to. You can push that button towards the top, that pink button, and you can call them directly from the app. And if they have a website, if they have a Facebook page, Instagram, or Yelp, all that's on there. It shows their business location on a map. And if you don't see a business on the app that should be on there, there's a plus button, and you can add new business information. So we want to get everybody on this app. And what we think is going to happen is the other major search engines, Google or Yelp or Yellow Pages, they're probably going to find this information and put it on their sites. And that's okay, because we're still putting out information, getting people online, making sure that, you know, the goal here is to rebuild our economy. So whether or not we're doing it or they're doing it, that's okay. Next slide. And the next thing I'd like to talk about is Plumas Business Resources. This has been a back burner project. We've been focused on the Plumas Business Directory. Now that that's up and running, we're going to be providing a lot more information in Plumas Business Resources. At our website, ivih.org, you can find a listing of the local, regional, state, and federal organizations that are helping the business owners in Plumas County. Right now, we're more focused on phase 1 of this project, and that's to create a directory just for disaster impacted businesses. After we're done doing that, we're going to be focusing on the rest of Plumas County. But this area is definitely our priority, and there's already resources up there. If you go to the Plumas Business Resources page at our website, you can see what those are. Next slide. This is one of the resources, and this is someone a lot of people have been, this is one that a lot of people have been asking about this. It's what is the funding that's coming in for wildfire recovery? Tracy Ferguson and Deborah Lucero worked on this list. They wanted to create greater transparency about the resources coming in. I've put some copies on the back table if you're curious to know what those are. So there's all kinds of different departments of funding that are coming in, funding that's coming in. Some of them are economic recovery resources, some of them are for housing. If you take a look at that list, it'll make a lot more sense to you. And I just wanted to thank Tracy and Deborah for working on this, because I know they're busy, I know they're understaffed, but they wanted the information to get out there. Next slide. Here's another resource that's a really good one. The photograph didn't work real well. So Alliance for Workforce Development is providing funding to business owners to help pay wages for employees. In fact, Jason, we were able to hire Jason through a grant from Alliance for Workforce Development, and he's helping move things along a lot faster. So they have a few different types of grants, but this is the one that they're saying they've got more funding for right now. So if you want to train an employee, you might take a look at their website, give them a call, ask them about this program. They'll pay 50 to 100% of the wages for your employee. And I think it lasts 3 to 6 months. Next slide. And before I wrap this up, I just wanted to thank our funders, Alliance for Workforce Development for that funding to hire another employee, Plumas Sierra County Fair, the Feather River Community Fund gave us a $10,000 grant for equipment to create a large language model, artificial intelligence, so we can go out there and get every piece of information about what the resources are for our community. And it'll also help with the Made in Plumas County program. And also the Plumas Sierra County Fair Foundation and Clint and Karen Cobley. Next slide. If you want to get a hold of us, here's our website, ivih.org, our Facebook page, Indian Valley Innovation Hub, my email address, laura@ivih.org, and our phone number. Yeah, and if you have any questions, just come up to me after the event. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Laura. Lots of irons in the fire there. So next brief is from GoBiz Chico Start iHub 2. Eva? Yeah, welcome. Yeah, please. No problem. Welcome. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so these are tough, right? These are tough to come back to these meetings over and over, right? And see incremental change or sometimes bursts of change. So I'll tell you who I am and why I'm here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about those things. My name is Eva Shepard-Nickel. I wear a lot of hats. I am the executive director for Chico Start, which is a nonprofit that helps businesses start, grow, and thrive. I am the director for the Center of Entrepreneurship at CSU Chico and run a department, teach some other fun things there. I'm also the Accelerate California Innovation Hub for 20 counties here in the North State, including Plumas. So sometimes you'll see a little banner underneath IVIH or other economic development things in the region, and it'll say powered by or accelerated by Chico Start, because we get grants from the state to help not only low wealth and rural, but also disaster impacted. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here. So I'm here on behalf of the state, the region, and the county. So to date, luckily I was contacted very early on in this and have been involved for about the last 2 years. This meaning what's going on in the region, not this meaning the Dixie Fire Collaborative. So I'm just here to present what we have to help with. Lastly, I'll say about myself, I am a campfire victim. So I know exactly what you guys are going through. Still haven't rebuilt. And it's been, we're going on 6 years now, right? Right. What else can I tell you so that all this will make sense? On one hand, you can have all the rooftops you want, but have no businesses. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Because all your money is going out of your communities. Right? So that's something to take in consideration. When we're looking at rebuilding, we're looking at rebuilding on an even foundation, right? An even foundation, what does that mean? Like, let's think about it from the context of a stool. Okay, a stool has 3 legs, right? Sometimes 4. But if anything's missing, it's not even. It's not an even foundation, right? So if you're spending a lot of time in social services or economic development, but not in housing, that's a problem. If you're spending a lot of time in housing and social services, but not economic development, that's a problem. It's a big problem. You guys have, how long, July 20th, right? July 20th, 936,309 acres, 5 counties, right? So, and I don't need to tell you guys this stuff, right? You know this stuff. But where are we at? Does someone want to tell me, can someone from the audience please tell me what the poverty level is for Plumas County? Go ahead.
Yes, it's 27% or higher.
Okay. Anybody else have a more accurate number or more, or another number that they think is relevant? Okay, go ahead. Okay. Yeah, we're talking north of 40. North of 40. Since the fire, not before the fire though. Okay, so how many houses are going up right now? Somebody want to tell me? Not enough, sure. But does anybody know what, go ahead.
Businesses and manufacturing and state homes.
Okay, got it. So, okay. And so if we were to divide that between businesses and houses, does anybody have an idea? How many are going up? Anybody? Nobody hears from the planning department, I guess, okay. It's too bad. All right, the reason why I'm calling to mind these numbers is because the people who are left here, right? That sounds kind of harsh, right? But the people who are left here and living here there's 40% poverty rate. So say you built 20 houses, say you built 50 houses. Who are gonna be moving into those houses? Can someone tell me who the demographic is that is gonna be moving into those houses? Retired folks?
80% AMI or lower.
Thank you.
That's AMI. Average median income. Thank you.
Mhm. Right. So we need a even foundation for our stool, right? For our stool to be able to hold I'm using that as a metaphor, obviously, right? And so I'm here to help encourage you guys to also think about economic development. Okay. I am by no means an expert, but I have lots of experience in different areas of this. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of different things. Now, I believe you guys have a new Dixie Fire Collaborative leader, right? Patrick. Congratulations, Patrick. Okay, I hear great things about you. So I look forward to spending time with him. Somebody told me yesterday that I need to spend 12 hours with this guy, and I'm like, I can't, because I got to go back down to Butte College and support a fundraiser there. So anyway, I want to hear from you guys what you feel the most encouraging signs are, right? What are the most encouraging signs right now from this community on behalf of businesses? Can anybody give me their feedback on that? What are the most encouraging signs? Riley's Jerky, stop there on the way here. So the reason why I'm late, to be honest. All right, go ahead. Infrastructure, that's encouraging. You're seeing infrastructure come back or the right planning in those areas. Okay, awesome. Okay, Riley's infrastructure. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Great. Okay, that's part of, infrastructure, right? It's part of those legs, right? Go ahead, sir.
Before the fire, economic development was not high on the list of a lot of local people.
Mhm.
After the fire, it went all the way up to that second place as far as concerned. So I think there's been a mind shift that housing and economic development go hand in hand. And that's encouraging.
Okay, awesome. That is really encouraging. What happens so often, I was involved in the Tubbs rebuilding, only because I happened to be working with some folks at the time right before it happened, not because I was a victim of it. Little did I know that workbook that came out of that would be part of what we used for the campfire, and little did I know I would be in the campfire. I moved there 6 months beforehand, right? I've done a lot of research in this area. So whether it's Nebraska or Kansas or, unless you have a couple of really large initiatives, like a plant moving into the town, in addition to entrepreneurs starting their businesses, you're not going to meet that 7-year mark. That's kind of people say, oh, it takes about 7 years to get, no. I look at Paradise, right? So I'm not here to be a naysayer. I'm here to say, where you put your priorities is where it's going to grow first, right? Where you put your priorities is where you're going to grow first. Now, unfortunately, sometimes with these things, we also have to do them all at the same time. And that's a heavy lift, right? I hate those uses. It's a heavy lift, right? Everybody's trying to keep their head above water, right? All right, so I come prepared to spew out all sorts of stats based on different disaster zones, but I don't need to do that. What I want to do is to help you understand what we're doing to help your community and also ask what I can do more to help your community. Because having you or you having a home come home to is a sign of hope for you. But when you see a new business go up in town, that's a sign of hope for your community. Right, right, all right. So, one of the things we've been involved with early on is talking with everyone from Kes to Clint to Laura to Deborah to many others about what is needed here. And so we started small, right? Starting supporting those already doing the work in this area. We have since gone after more grants to help more rural areas. So that's why I say, that's why I mentioned I help 20+ counties in the North State. As an example, I was in Alturas on Tuesday and I was in Arcata on Wednesday. And I'm here today. Part of that help is deploying funds. Part of that help is connecting resources to these counties. Part of that help is whether you need line of sight broadband, right? Line of sight broadband fixed, you know, here's a little bit of money. Whether it's you guys need entrepreneurial resources on demand 24/7, here, use our resources. So all this exists. Did you guys know this exists? No? Okay, well, I'm here to talk about it, right? So 90% of all 90% of all new jobs are created by small business. Did you know that? All right, good. So where should some money be spent? Thank you. All right. These are great students. You should be like, no. How much money does the county have for economic development recovery? Economic development, not the housing, not social services, not education. How much money does the county have for economic development? Well, there's never enough money, honey, right? There's never enough money, right? But how much do we have? Does anybody know? Okay. Okay. Oh, I bet. Absolutely, I bet. Now, it's my understanding that the ARPA funds were deployed, correct? Okay, and all of the ARPA funds that were deployed are from, what was that from? Right, so the COVID money, right? Thank you. I kind of knew that, but I was going to stumble over the words. Of all the businesses that got that money, they're all still in business. Yes, sir.
There's 53 small businesses in Kingstown that are.
Okay.
The number of them here in Valley.
Okay.
And every board of supervisors district across Kingstown.
Okay, good. That's awesome. But what does that tell you? Where you put your money is where it's going to grow, right? Or where it's going to at least stay retained. All right. So I am hoping as part of encouraging this community to not only start their own side hustles or help companies that are already in business here or deploying your cash here, because that's part of the issue too, right? How many people, raise your hands, how many people go out of the area to go grocery shopping? Yeah, okay. How many people go out of the area to go to the hardware store? All right, yeah, okay, right. How many gas stations are in town? Oh, okay. How many? 80% less. So this is me tossing out numbers. Someone please correct me, okay? If hypothetically you lost 80% of all businesses in the county? So somebody correct me. Okay, I'm just gonna go with this for a second. If the hypothesis is that you lost 80% of the businesses in your county and only 20 survived, right? 20 survived and some got to rebuild within the first year and a half. How many have you lost since then? How many have just took the money and left the county? Right? People had capital to deploy, but left another 40%. Okay, so where do we need to make our investments? Right, it's hard. This is not easy. We need to make them in economic development. And what does that mean? In our local businesses. So why? We can keep our money local. So why? so we can help our community rebuild, right? So if by the time you get a paycheck each 2 weeks or once a month, 80% of that is deployed outside of your county, that's a problem, right? Right. All right. So back to what I could possibly do to help. All right. So I'm trying to help small businesses in the area, and luckily I get to work with, I recognize a few people in the room, so luckily I get to work with them. I'm supporting what's going on in infrastructure through my designation with the Governor's Office of Business. And then we're also looking at how we could be deploying more. So an example that you heard earlier from Laura about her working with Alliance for Workforce Development. Do you know how that came about? I'm going to tell you. Do you mind if I tell the story? Okay, so here's the story. So she's on the cusp at one point, the organization and the people involved in the organization, because it's not just Laura, are on the cusp of becoming a 501(c)(3). C3. I'm dyslexic. Okay. And that doesn't happen for some strange reason. I am. And so I took out the insurance and such to cover, right? So that she could hire and put her together with AFWD and made those things happen, right? Not because I signed on the dotted line, but we're glad to have Jason. Jason doesn't know I know about it. You know, we're glad to have Jason because of it, right? Now that is a great program, folks, an absolutely great program. So if anybody in the room is a business owner, please look into it. A lot of times also I hear a lot of discouragement from locals and from businesses specific to, oh, well, you know, I'm not a nonprofit, I can't get a grant. No, that's not how it works. You don't have to be a nonprofit to get a grant, right? If you are a nonprofit or you're working on a collaborative and that collaborative gives money from a nonprofit, they have parameters, right? So I'm also with a sidebar. I'm also on the LEAD program with North Valley Community Fund. So when they deploy capital, it's normally like, hi, we're going to give it to you. You're going to do this, and you can only deploy to nonprofits. That's their parameters. But you can get a USDA grant and deploy. You can get a DOE grant, you can get an EDA grant. There's tons of different grants out there. Is it easy? No, it is not easy. It is nerve-wracking at times. But you don't owe anybody money for that. That's non-dilutive capital, right? To get started. All right, so one of the things we're going to be doing, I'm going to go back to Chico Start and why we're, one of the things we do in that role, okay? One of the things we'll be doing more of in this area, now that some of the things have been finally kicked off, so we'll be bringing workshops up here, everything on how to write grants, how to get grants. So we'll have a lot of that stuff coming. We also have things for business owners, like social media 101. What is artificial intelligence? How to use QuickBooks, and we leverage our relationships with the SBDC and such to bring some of these to you guys as well. So we have relationships with all those business resources. Now, I'm not an expert. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I care deeply about our rural communities and care deeply about our disaster impacted communities and see people with great intentions all day long tripping over themselves, right? Because everyone's trying to help, right? Well, I think it's also time to let in more outside resources to help you guys as well. So I can help with those things. I have a whole list of things that I can help with, and I'll be sharing those with the group. I think I've got the whole email group here as well. But I just wanted to say that there is more help than you guys might know for your community, right? That's one of the reasons why I'm here. So please let me know how I can help. And I'll tell you the parameters in which I can. I'll also let you know that as part of what I do for the 20 counties, in about a year, which I know sounds like a long time, but yeah, in about a year, one of the things that'll be deployed through my designation is also seed funds for startup businesses. So I'm pretty excited about that. I just found out about that at a meeting 4 weeks ago. What day is it? Yeah, 4 weeks ago. And that's pretty exciting news. So that'll be like $500,000 that I get to play with and help businesses get started. All right. So on that, are we taking questions now? And,
No, ma'am.
okay, I'm done. I've gone over time, correct? I have at least two. Okay, thank you everyone for your time and please let me know how I can help you. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Right. I do have a bit of information to share. And I believe this will be posted, but so we've got just time for share outs here, and then we'll probably just kind of reconfigure and kick into things, and then we'll do a little Q&A if there's a question that could benefit the greater audience here, and then we'll move into the next sort of contractor pieces. So Adam Cox from the CSD, so you may have noticed some Western Nevada Supply equipment being staged. He sent this out. IVCSD anticipates our contractor, Chester-based Diggett Construction, will begin work next week on our Greenville water line. This was sent out last night, so this is dated 1/19/24. Next week on our Greenville water line replacement project. Beginning in the coming weeks and lasting through late July, there will be traffic controls at various times on the following streets and roads in town: North and South Main, Bush Street, Hot Springs Road, throughout the flats. This project will provide long-term stability for Greenville's drinking water system by replacing a significant portion of our main and lateral lines. These replacements will allow for our field staff to shift to a proactive work model instead of constantly reacting to leaks and other issues. This approximately $2.7 million project is funded by grants from the Upper Feather River Integrated Regional Water Management, Plumas County, and the State of California Small Communities Drought Relief Program. Please contact Adam Cox or Utility Manager Mike Sunby with any questions, and please feel free to share this information with your networks. Thank you, Adam Cox, General Manager, Indian Valley Community Services District. So there are copies of this transcript out back or on the back table if you want to take a copy, just to take them. Additional share outs. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Judy Leland. I've spoken many times here regarding Indian Valley Recreation and Parks Department. And I'd like to make a couple of comments. One of the comments I've had is rumors. Seems to be a real problem in this valley. And as far as I'm concerned and our group is concerned, ignore them. They're not true. Secondly, I want to let you know that what we are trying to do is to complete our board numbers. We're increasing the number on board so that we can make decisions that will reflect the entire county or the entire community, not just a few people. That's basically all I have to say. Just keep this in mind. Yeah, if you're interested, you can call our office. However, our office manager is going to be out for the entire month of February. You can also call me at my phone number, which is local 530-284-6775. And I'll also be monitoring our phone number there at IVRPD. And that number is 530-230-7123. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And that's from the Indian Valley Parks and Recreation District. Yes.
Howdy, my name is Dan Litchfield. I just always want to remind everybody, we still have 4 months of funding for Nature Made, which is our little youth program, climbing wall, gold panning of the creek, rock painting with Randy Hovland, contractor. So we still have that going on this summer, going to be a lot of fun. I'm also working with Care Flag Ground, Sam Blessy, and PDH for some outreach for our aging population. Not just Indian Valley, but Plumas County as a whole. So moving forward, there's a lot of fun stuff coming up and a lot of good things going forward. So gotta remind you.
Give me a little information about this aging thing. I may be there.
You're gonna help me, right, Julian? The guy will be there too. Yeah, just all the years, volunteer fire and EMS being in and out of people's homes that just need help. You know, a lot of folks are by themselves. Their family moved on. Their husband or their wife died. They're alone. They need somebody to not only help them bring wood in and rake pine needles, but maybe fix a leak in a chimney and install a grab bar in a bathroom. and then sit down and have a cup of tea with them, you know, and hopefully we can get some of the more robust folks in our aging population, Julian and Pat, and Cass and Sharon, and all you wonderful people that can come out and help too, you know, and talk about the good old days and, you know, because there were good old days here in Greenville. And we were here for a long time. We've been in Plymouth County 20 years. And I can see it growing in all of Plymouth County and Modoc and Sierra and Lassen. And, you know, I worked in Sierra and Lassen County for SEMSA as a paramedic for 6 years. And it's not just Indian Valley. Anyway, so that's my little pet project. Sam's already got something going on with Care Flat Ground. He actually does find people that have been recently discharged from the hospital. The physician refers them to Sam and Care Flat Ground. Their crews will go out, you know, because they're not busy all the time. So they'll go out and they'll visit, make sure they're on their medication, they're doing the right thing, they're getting out going for a walk, you know, have a sandwich if you're diabetic. Let's check your blood sugar, let's check your vitals, and then sit down and have a cup of tea. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'll let you know. Jeannie. You know, it's still kind of in the pilot program phase, but talking with other people, there's other things going on. There's a lot of more people you enjoy. That hopefully they can talk more about it in the future, but I think it's got some momentum right now. And at this point, for a lack of funding, I still have the motivation and the heart to go forward. So I'm gonna find money somewhere, or I'll just keep going and harassing people at their homes. Does that answer your question, Julian? Okay.
Sure. Tough act to follow. All right, anyway, I just wanted to introduce myself to some of y'all, reintroduce myself to a few of y'all. My name is Ershad Stolden. A lot of y'all have been hearing Alliance for Workforce Development being referred to. So I am the new resource coordinator for Alliance for Workforce, the business service rep, career advisor. So I'll be reaching out to some of y'all with businesses, and you have questions about job development or resources that are available to you. I'm here. There's a presence now, so I'm going to try to engage more with the community and be active with y'all and try to do everything I can to help promote the community and help get things going. So it's good seeing y'all.
Thank you, John. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Kelly Konzelman. It was my first meeting with you guys. I am 5 years on the Campfire Collaborative in the Housing Committee. And I have 42 years of experience doing insurance reconstruction work and dealing with insurance companies. Part of the service that we offer as a free service is for anyone who has lost their homes in any of these fires and has a problem with their insurance settlement. We know that there is always thousands and thousands of dollars that are left on the table that people are qualified to obtain, but they don't know how to collect from their insurance company. They don't know the process or the procedure. So it's something that we make available as a community service. There's no charge for it. If you would like to have your claim evaluated by someone who could take a look and see what you've been paid, what's in your policy, what potential recovery is still there for you, I would be more than happy to meet with you privately and go over that. I offer it as a free service, and it would help people who have money that they need in order to rebuild. You're going to need every cent that you have, and there's a lot of money in these policies that are hidden that you don't know about and that you are entitled to. Thank you. Kelly? I hear this constantly, no matter what disaster community I've worked with, that there's so many people that leave money on the table through insurance. So I don't know much about how you help people with that, but I think that would be a good thing to have, because I know for a fact it's happening here and it's happening in other places too.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Supervisor Goss.
Just speaking real quick about every cent that you need to rebuild. I was in Washington, DC this last couple of weeks ago and talking about HR Bill 5863. And that is in regards to tax relief for our Tubbs, Woolsey, Marshall Fire in Colorado, Dixie Fire here, and it's really pushing up against the envelope for the campfire victims right now because it's 3 years of getting their settlements and they won't be able to go back and amend after 4/15. So hopefully we're going to know a lot more. We just watched the federal government just kick the can down the road again until March, but our bill is in and it is being evaluated and looked at. So hopefully keep an eye on it, and I'll have better news for you in a little bit, but it's looking really good. Thanks.
Okay. Any additional share outs? Okay, we will do a quick Q&A session and then we'll get ready to break. So any of the presenters that shared today with their slides, et cetera. So I don't know, Michaela and Lara, we had kind of a brief, smaller lineup this time. Who else? Oh, PG&E, yes. And Eva. Michaela, did you want to come back up just in case anybody has any questions? We usually kind of do a quick Q&A. Couple questions here and there for any of our presenters.
A question for Michaela from Zoom. Will you be hiring landscape companies to help with planting and irrigation?
That is a very good question. We do have a volunteer service that's planned to come out and assist in the planting process. However, I do have a landscaping company called A Garden for You, who will come out with their expertise for the trees that are growing in our zone, all the plants and everything that thrive well here. And as well as for the Greenville Elementary School garden, they're going to come out and kind of give us all the consultations on that, so that we're making sure that we're planting the right kinds of trees and plants for our area.
Another question from Zoom for PG&E. Does Canyon Dam have power right now? Yes.
Yeah, okay, we got it. The answer is yes.
One more Zoom question. Any update on Feather River Resource Conservation District's tree removal and seedling planting grant program? I've been waiting on the list. I've been on the waiting list for 2 years. Anyone can answer that? RCD?
So with that question, I cannot answer that right now. However, we'll take that question, annotate that, and I will find out an answer for that person. I don't know.
And one more question for Michaela. Are all the trees you're bringing up acclimated for the elevation climate, and are they natives?
They are not all natives. No, it's going to be the decorative shade and fruit trees. There's very low amounts of native trees. I know that I think Sierra Institute has a project planned for the native replanting the native species trees. They are acclimated. They will be perfectly for our zone. So they will grow here and they're going to be very established. So they're going to be the larger trees. So it'll be easier for them to thrive. And we will not be bringing those up until it's warmer weather to give them a good fighting chance.
Thank you.
Okay, any additional questions?
Exciting, for you, but also for notification. I've talked many times about communication. And right at the beginning, when you talked about the preamble starting things and what was changed in the program and elections and such, and then you said notices will go out, you said Facebook, you said webpage, but you left off a huge chunk of people who are continually left out of the communications. We need, some of us use email, and the emails like we get, we take push it to us, don't have us go out and pull it off of somewhere, send it to us, have some phone calls. But there's a large group of people who still are not getting information about this forum, about what's going on, because they're just like, they aren't here in town, so they can't go look on the poster. Right? And they don't do Facebook. And some of them don't even navigate to a web page. But on the places that, the web page is not up to date, it needs to be up to date. And some of those things, but I'm just saying the communications, you have the email. A lot of us have always put an email out. And to get an email on Friday evening, there's a meeting on Saturday. Well, that didn't even happen this time, but it needs to be more often, so.
Yeah, you're right. That didn't happen this time because we got it out earlier, but thank you for that point. And also, I would also, whatever recommendations you have, I'm happy to hear them. So again, those are kind of the normal methods, right? So if you have great ideas on where else we can go with this, then I'm happy to hear them. So yeah, no, but committee or no, that's the other thing is great ideas can come from anyone. Nobody has to be on a committee to come up with a great idea. So I'll be here all day and I would love to hear your communications recommendations. And as far as the website goes, we're continuing to go, like Taylor and I just had a class on actually how to operate it on Thursday night. So we're able to hop in the driver's seat on the website so we can be more responsive with it. It's a great idea and thank you for bringing it up. Any other aspects of communication?
I have something.
Please.
So we found a resource that wasn't being utilized on Facebook. It was the Dixie Fire Facebook page. At its peak, it had 11,000 followers. And these were people from all over Plumas County, outside Plumas County, news organizations. It provided information about the fire up until about 2 weeks after the fire. The administrators of that shut it down because people were finding out about homes being burned on Facebook. So we went to them and asked them if we could start this up again, just so we could reach more people that might not be around here or might not be connected to the communication sharing sources. And they turned the administration over to myself and Patrick and Trina Cunningham. And we're looking for more administrators for that page to share out more information about anything Dixie Fire Recovery related. We've renamed the page Dixie Fire Recovery. It's just getting up and running, and I think it's going to be a great resource to connect more people with more information.
Thank you, Laura. Yes, ma'am.
After I sit for a while, I can't stand up. About communication, when we had whatever we had before, I was getting notices on my phone whenever something new was happening. I'm having a lot of trouble with Plumas Sun. I can't find any information there. Is that because they're not being notified of things that are happening? I go on that site and I see a lot of ads or things. There was something in Quincy that was on there for weeks, but nothing about something local that I missed. And I just wondered, how are they getting their information and how can we get it from them? Because I have trouble with Facebook. I don't have it, and I can't go on everybody's website every day to see what's happening. So I'm wondering if we have a more, like you said, we need more.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And so with regard to the Plumas Sun, our events were trying to multi-pronged approach of, between social media, between the website, and then of course, getting it out to the Plumas Sun so we can be more responsive with that. So if it's not on Plumas Sun, it's probably meant that's a failure on our part for not getting a press release in on time. And so we can just be more responsive with getting that up on Plumas Sun. So again, understand that there are gaps and we're working on it. And we're just going to try to keep increasing the opportunities for people to get engaged, stay engaged, and do everything we can to make sure folks are informed. So thank you for the recommendations. All right. In the interest of time, because everybody more or less will still be here, we'll continue on. If you have questions independently, we'll do that. So right now, have a cup of coffee, grab a cookie, hang out. We're just going to kind of reconfigure. So we've got some folks in the room that are subject matter experts around construction, engineering, and financial different backgrounds. All right. I'll just kind of start over here with Brett Marty from, is that correct? Yes, Brett Marty from Butterfly Valley Design and Build, Todd Bonkio from Indian Valley Construction. Mr. Vukic has a housing background, is that correct? Yep, good to see you. Kind of going around. There's Brian Plocky from La Sierra Log Works, correct? There's Eddie Hamrick from Lights Creek Construction, with Mike Beatty from Beatty Construction. We also have Alicia Hamrick from Indian Head Properties.
Lindsay Bliss Kelly from LBK Engineering, Aaron Lone from Edward Jones Financial down in Quincy, and then, of course, Chris Myers from Myers Construction right here. And then Mr. Conzelman gave a brief earlier. Again, he sits on the Housing Committee at the Campfire Collaborative and just has some kind of creative solutions around some of the things that they've been working on. I may not recognize everybody. So is there anybody else that has a contracting background or financial background that has joined us that I haven't seen? Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. And we talked at the beginning, and Karen Morcom with Morcom Real Estate, and she was also available from a real estate perspective. So in a second here, we're going to kind of clean up some of these chairs, maybe keep some of the benches collapsed, but this way you can kind of have independent conversations, mill about freely, ask your questions, get advice, or don't. It's all up to you. Just trying to create a venue. So ready, break. Thank you very much.